Good morning, peoples. Let's get started here with Group B. Declares on the 13th of August. Ex-dividend is the 14th. Pay date is the 15th. Those are all this Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, this coming Thursday, and this coming Friday. Nothing new on the YieldMax groups. It just happens to have weekly payers and monthly payers. All right. So what did Nvdy do? Well, Nvdy had a decent month. Let me see if I can find the right Babo, Facebook, Plty. Yeah, here's my Nvdy sheet. So Nvdy had a little bit of revenue close, not much, but they had a nice two different positions. Again, these are not booked. These are, if you will, profits that are setting there. It's like you having a $10 stock, it went to 14. You haven't sold it yet, but on paper you got a $4 gain. Well, they got $1.60 per share of payable money. Now, could that disappear? You bet. Right now, the expiration on both the 170 and the 165 synthetics are 919. Their other monies was small in comparison. So that's a tough call. These are always judgment calls, guys. So I'll say this. I had $1.17 because I think, Nvidia is near all-time highs. They paid $1.60 before, 67, 67, 78, $1.61. So I mean, honestly, this thing could be between 90 cents and $1.40 probably. So I'm going somewhere in there. It's a heck of an 85% yield. So $1.17 for Mr. Nvdy. All right. How about Facebooky? Facebooky. Well, what is the IV? 3640. And by the way, that's much higher than the Nvdy IV. But 3640. And on Facebook, I think I'm in the 40-cent range. So I got them, I think, down. Oh, the other factor, guys, these are always important. I should just leave this over here. So what did they do price-wise? Well, Nvidia went up a little bit. Last, they were 1777. So what happens is because somebody pushed me to do this, I didn't really like it, but I come out with the weekend price, which is the close on Friday. So every 28 days when the close on Friday ends, but when they actually pay, they declare Wednesday morning, and the only close we have is Tuesday night. So normally I like this when it was set to the other price, just like when I come in here and I put my actuals in and report, then I'll update this price from basically being the 8th until it being the 12th, the close on the 12th. So, when I look back, they may have been up a little more from the real 28 days. It kind of frustrates me that somebody pushed me to make that change. I get it. I feel like saying, well, just look at the sheet that comes out from YieldMax. That'll tell you yield on cost for that Tuesday before the declaration day. But so be it. Not a big deal. I can handle a lot of things. All right, Facebooky. What did Facebooky do? Went up 3.6. All right. Did it make any money? Let's do that before we even look. Facebooky had $1.06. They did not really make much money on their weeklies. They have $1.06 in their synthetic value, which is also a 919. So a nice paper gain there. I don't have them paying that much. I have them paying in the 40s. So let's go take a look. But two positives. Good money sitting there, booked or could be booked, and up 3.6. I went from 1665 to 1725. I stopped just calculating the amount because it's not relative. It's the percent increase, right? That matters way more. All right. So shut up and give them the prize. Okay. 53. So I had it not in the 40s. I had it back to where it was in June and in May and close to April and close to March, above February, and certainly above last month. All right, let's take a look at Jpmo. How'd they do? Down 218. Did they make any money on their synthetic? No, absolutely not. Well, I guess, do you count 1.6 cents? So that's pretty pathetic, guys. They didn't really earn. So what are they going to do? They're probably going to pay them close to their IV. What do I have as the IV? 23.40. So I'm going to give them a little bit more than that. Maybe I'm being generous. Not that much more. 38 cents. Kind of split the difference here. They've had a 29 and a 27, but they've had a 50, a 56, a 37. So they're all over the map. Murney, look at this, guys. There's two funds that are massively down. Well, three funds that are down a lot, but the two funds are down 22%. Murney is one of them, from 258 to $1.99. They don't want a reverse split. They're just going to disappear, so they're forced to when they get down when it gets to a nickel. So all that thought of, well, when it's below $5 they have to, well, I guess not, right? And they don't like the news about it, right? They really wish that the nav erosion thing would go away. Well, you can't be YieldMax and nav stability, not unless you find something like Plty, but then you screw that up, right? And you had Misty for 18 months, and now Misty's turned against you. No fault of YieldMax. That's not really YieldMax doing. They know how to operate it. They just can't make something out of nothing. So what did I give Murney? Well, I think I gave him 9 cents. I probably gave him 10 cents, which is high, but I mean, they paid 20 cents, 19 cents. I took them down below any payment here with losing 22% and being under $2. My gosh. 9 cents, yeah. All right, Gdxy. You guys know I'm a little biased here, but I don't like Gdxy. I love the gold miners. You watch my other video today. It's imminent, guys. This breakout and this running. And I always told people, if you're going to own any income, what income fund could you say for the next 5 years should be bullish? Doesn't mean it doesn't go way up and pull back 50%. Bruce, you said it's always bullish. But what I mean is from today, from 6 months ago, from a year from now, from 2 years from now, it should do nothing but go up. Is it going to make a lot of money? Probably not, because YieldMax doesn't know how to make it work. You want to see an example? Okay, you asked for it. Let me go get it. I mean, it's not magic, but okay. So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at Palantir, the underlying. So you want to own an income fund, or do you want to make money? So I get why you want to own the income fund, but you can pick the best stock on the planet, okay? The best AI stock on the planet. And look at this. Just goes up, up. Sure, it pulls back. It takes a rest after going from down here up 3 times. It tripled, right? Pull back almost back to the 100% mark, and it'll do it again, right? So let's say it didn't quite get there. So it's, let's 100 and a quarter. Well, it's 5 something now, so we just went up 4 times. Maybe we'll hit 600 and get, what's it going to do? It's going to pull back, right? I don't own Plty anymore. There's better alternatives out there. PLTW is massively better. If I put this chart in here, you'd be about right here, right? Still not the growth of the growth stock, but way better than Plty. Especially their $2 and $3 payments were embarrassing. Just absolutely embarrassing. They took me and a lot of other people that listen to me and a lot of people that have a brain and say, I'm going to take my money where it's treated better. So what are they probably going to do today? Maybe they'll pay $7 again. I don't care. Because that just means they'll have massive NAV erosion. They're already not going up as much. All right, so let me take this one down. Sorry to get off on that, but it's kind of, I actually meant to show you guys GDXY. It's the same thing, if not worse. Where do I have that chart? Oh, I did it in my video. So watch the video I did earlier today, and I showed GDXY, and I show GDX. And I say, okay, and I remember the stat. So year to date, GDXY up 72%. Okay. GDXY up 8%. Okay, but is that the whole story? No, because in an income fund, okay, you get to collect revenue, which is why you guys are in it. Otherwise, you'd just be absolutely crazy. I'd have to call you a lunatic at that point. But you're hungry for money, so you get an income fund. You want one that you're bullish on. IV's not that high. It doesn't pay all that well. So they paid 33 cents last time, guys. I think they're going to pay 70 cents. They should. They're up 5.1%. Okay, one of the better ups. But they probably won't. They'll probably give it 50 or 60 cents. It's just YieldMax. But should they? No, they should pay it much better. I got 77 cents. Let's see. I'm not hopeful. I own a little bit. I do my own synthetics now on GDX, and I can't depend on these guys. I really can't. But there's nothing wrong with owning it. If you want to be in YieldMax and you want something that should do well, they're getting back up there. They're climbing their way back to $20. That's a lot more than can be said for a lot of the funds, right? So dips, who cares? These inverts aren't the greatest things in the world. They're not that popular. Winter worked when Misty was running, kind of as an inverse, but Misty's not really running anymore. Maybe it will. Hope so. All right, let's take a look here. What do we got? 19.5 for Dipperoonie. So on GDXY, let's take a look at. Oh, guys, sorry, I got one more thing to tell you about GDXY. And so, in fairness, they made $1.22. I don't have the sheet right here in front of me, but I know it by heart. I think it's just not open, but I made it. So GDXY is setting on $1.22. How they can lose money on all their weeklies, that's a YieldMax thing, because guess what? They play it conservative. They buy a 47 when GDX is 46, and then it runs to 49 and they get killed on their calls. Duh. You know, they just cannot manage these income funds, right? You know, I cannot wait. And people need to build these. The masses will come, guys, as these miners wake up, which they've already woken up. Retail's not quite in there. Smart money's there. But when retail wakes up to it, they're going to want income funds on these miners more than the metals. There's plenty on the metals, just not really, other than GDXY, not many on the miners. And it's not a good paying fund. It could be if it's managed correctly. Put leverage on it first off, probably 150. I'd even take a 200%. Going to be way more uptime than there is downtime. And then write much further out on your calls. All right. So they made $1.22. That's why I have 77. That's what I based it on. But I say made it as paper value. Babo, kind of flat, 1545, 1550, up a little. Didn't make a lot of money. What do I have for Babo? 30 or 40 cents, I think. 43. All right, Plty. Let's see if YieldMax can get it together here, guys. Let me show you a stat that's staggering, but not really. Not for me. I've been saying for the longest time it's the best software company on the planet, right? Whoops. I pulled Babo over here. Or I pulled Jpmo over with a penny. No, Plty earned a little more. Oh, here it is. Here's my Gdxy, guys. Oh, no, that's Facebooky. $1.06. They were $1.22 for Gdxy. I'm getting there. Let me get Plty. Plty. There you are. All right. I track a lot on Plty. So how can you take a fund that's up $14, it's doing fabulous, and lose money on your calls? Well, YieldMax can, right? They lost 12 million. They got run over is what happened. Sometimes they got ran over 2 or 3 times in the same week. You go out $5, Plty goes up $10 in a day. You go out and write calls another $5 out, Plty goes up another $10 the next day. So learn how to play stocks. My gosh. I know you're not supposed to try and be predictive, but that's what gets you in trouble. That's why you have the mass erosion. You pick these things because they're really good stocks, or they're trending and they're hot. Things like Hood, right? Even Carvana at its time. Obviously MSTR in its day, even Coinbase. They cool down, they heat up, but my God, how can you play these so poorly? So you lose $1.45, you got $20 on the books, you're a monthly fund. Guess what? We're stretched. Remember that chart I showed you? I don't know, maybe a week or two, Palantir is going to be another 10 or 15% higher, and that's the top for a month or 2 or 3. Sometimes these pullbacks happen so quick, 25% evaporates. Last time, I put my stop in at 90. Plty ran to 95. I bought it at 50, well, 51, but in the low 50s. I knew it was going to pull back because the underlying was just massively stretched. And I captured $20 back, right? Sold it at 90, bought it back at 70. So now my $50, 51 is like 31. Didn't matter. I got tired of the $3 payment, the $2 payment, and the underlying is just ripping. Come on. So what are they going to pay, Bruce? Get to the point. Well, they got $20 on the books, right? If they'd have played this smart over here, they probably would have made 10 million. And then that would be 10 million in the bank, right? So needless to say, this is $20 per share, guys. 171 million, but it's on the books. It's not booked. Very likely by September 19th, it's not going to be worth anywhere near that amount. So I think they would be hesitant to pay out very much. Having said that, what do I have for Plty? How about $1.86, guys? I really wanted to just piss you off. I said, well, they can pay 326, and then that was ridiculous, and then take 70 cents lower and pay 250, and that was the final straw for me. Then why don't you treat everybody the same and take another 70 cents out of it? Why? Because then pretty soon nobody would be in Palantir. It's still up at 7 or 8, something like that. It was going to be your fourth company to earn all its money back. but I don't track that anymore. House money, right? Was going to be the fourth company to get to house money and the second fastest. Misty will hold that record at 8.3. I think this is like the 10th payment for Plty. But after these last payments, they probably need another $5 or $6. They may get there. All right, guys, I'm sort of messing with you. I think they're going to try now and they're going to say, sorry, guys, I'm going to give it 100% yield and give it 605. Because I think they're embarrassed. Somebody's saying to somebody, man, we got uh, uh, a lot of redemptions. People are leaving. They're moving over to Round Hill. We better pay. Damn right. And manage the fund better. You shouldn't have lost what you lost. My gosh, if you're putting all that emphasis in doing it in Ulti, which is about the only fund you're really doing it in, get your act together, YieldMax, if you want to be around a long time. All right. Maro, sad performance. Really sad. And when they perform like that, there's nothing on YieldMax, nothing on the fund company, right? 22%. That's not the fund. That's just, you're going to go down 19 or 20% in that. So what did I pay? $1. $1. I hear that a lot in Asia. $1. That's a low payment on a stock that's $19. Last month it was 25. Guys, how would you like to have bought this back here in January at 37 and you're sitting at 19? You've lost 50% of your NAV. All right. That's these income funds, if they don't have a good strategy. All right, let's move through these a little faster. Got 14.5 cents on YMAX and 15, so 50 yields. So right now we got an 85% yielder and a 100% yielder. What I got 63% on GDX. All right, let's do Leffigy and Caputi. I dropped Leffigy. Look at this. People are leaving Leffigy also. It's a portfolio. Almost 10%. It happens. Like I said, I think Plty and PLTW and a few of them in another couple weeks are going to be turning down, maybe in a week. You just don't get stretch in the underlying. You got to make your run happen. And this once a month thing is just not cutting it. I can see now. All right. So Leffigy. Let's do Leffigy and Caputi as a pair here. 39. So I dropped them. I don't know if they paid that low. They haven't. Well, they are now. They're going down, guys. That they're hitting the famous NAV erosion. Look at this. January they were $48.50. They're 36 now. Whoops. 34 now. Call it 49 and 34. That's 30% in a bull market. All right, Caputi, 28.5. All right, let's do all of these except for Ulti. Let's do the three. S Diddy, Q Diddy, and R Diddy. At 19.5 here for the Spider. Got 21 cents for Q Diddy, the Qs, and R Diddy for the Rut and Russell. I got 28 cents. So not bad IVs, or yields, I should say. All right. Ulti could be in the nines. You know what? I don't want it to be in the nines, so I'm going to give it 10 flat. Could be in the mid to high nines. I don't think it's in the eights. All right, Chippy. I got Chippy going down a little. Semiconductors have pulled back some. 35 cents, guys. 3.5, 3.5. I don't think Robley is paying yet. If I'm wrong, I apologize. So I should have looked that up more, but I'm not sure that it was clear. So not a bad payment if Plty does what it should do, right? It should pay $6. Will it? I don't know. Ask YieldMax. Nvdy should pay over $1. Let's see. They probably will. All right, guys, that's what I got for Group B. I've always had an affinity for Group B. I like their stocks, right? Group B and Group D, and sometimes Group C. But now with all these weeklies and so many of them, they're hard to distinguish between the group. Obviously, Group A is the least popular. All right, let me read these back to you guys. If you're driving or commuting or something, Nvdy, $1.17 estimate, 85% yield. Facebook E, Meta, 53 cents, a 40% yield. Jpmo, 38 cents, 30% yield. Murni, 9 cents, 58% yield. Gdxy, 77 cents, 64% yield. Dips, the inverse, 19 cents, 39% yield. Babo, 43 cents, 36% yield. Palantir, Plty, 605, 100% yield. Ymax, why do I have, oh, sorry, guys. Maro, $1, 68% yield. Ymax, 14.5 cents, 57%. Ymag, 15 cents, 50%. Leffigy, 39.5 cents, 56. Gaputi, 28.5, 31. All right, the Diddy fans. S Diddy, 19.5, 22%. Q Diddy, 21, 24% yield. R Diddy, 28 cents, 32% yield. And the fan favorite, Ulti, 10 cents, 86%. Might be a little high on that one this time. Chippy, the semis, 35 cents, 34% yield. Okay, guys, that's it. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye for now, peoples.